Hi guys, welcome to another tutorial brought to you by Professional CAD Systems in Hamilton, New Zealand. I'm Russell and I'll be taking you through this tutorial today. As you can see, our subfloor now has some framing on it, and while I was building this framing I realized that there's a very important aspect to some outlier visibility options that may be of interest. So I've just taken a step to show you some of those features in SketchUp because they can be very useful. These visibility icons for turning on and off various components and groups. So what we've got here is my framed building. In the next tutorial I'm going to look at these rakes and take you through how to draw those using the various tools, the protractor tool, the tape measure tool, setting up some guidelines and the other, but I don't want all the busyness of the other framing and that. So I've created a whole lot of components and I want to turn complete walls on and off, but to turn the walls on and off I need to make them into groups. So there's a couple of ways to do that. Some work better than others in different situations. My personal preference is to create naming conventions. So if I'm doing a back wall, I'll call things, instead of just 555mm nog, I'll call it back wall 555mm nog. Then it's readily accessible via our outliner filter. But if you haven't done that and you need to select all the walls, there is a way to do it. So what we can do is set up a viewpoint like so. That's not 100% perfect, so we've got different view options here for elevations and plans, etc. So what we can do is we'll just use this one. We want to select the front wall, so click on that and then you zoom in so that you can select the lines carefully. You can see the floor here is going to be quite difficult to get down to select. So left click and pull a selection box over and release. Now because we didn't have that entire geometry in the selection box, it didn't select, but for the most part we've got our front wall selected. Now once that's done, you can go ahead and right click and make a group, and that will throw your wall into a group and highlight it so you can find it. I'd click on that and call that front wall. Why has group disappeared? Now I need to type that again. Front wall group, and then you can turn the entire wall on and off as you need to. Now that's a fairly fast, efficient way of doing it. However, if you've got a project that's much bigger than this little cabin that I'm drawing, you might find it problematic to select everything that you want to select. For instance, I don't know where or what I'm going to select here if I need to get all the stuff on this one on a bigger drawing, for instance, and you could end up getting things pretty higgledy-piggledy. So for simple drawings, small drawings, that's fine. The other way to do it is to have a naming convention. You can see here, right wall, so-and-so nog, this piece, all the components have been labeled correctly from the offset. So I can use the outliner filter and say, okay, I want everything associated with the rear wall. I think I've called it back wall. Yes, back wall. And then it'll only produce back wall components. I can then shift select those and it'll give me all the components in the back wall. Well, it hasn't done so. These haven't been included in the naming convention, and this is why that naming convention is so important. But anyway, while we're here, we'll just shift select these to include them. You always just double check. Then it doesn't really matter where they sit, they're always included in that wall. So we're happy with that. Now we can either right click and make a group in the drawing, or we can use this menu, right click, just anywhere, it doesn't matter that I clicked there, wherever, and we can make group, and we will call this group Cool Beans. So we can turn that back wall off. We can turn the front wall off. And again, anything to do with the front, if you can't find it, use the filter, and there you go. So that's how that works. My frames I have put into the same sort of categorizing. May as well make that a group while we're here. Right click, I'll just show you the other way, click wherever. So that's a group, name that. I'll go back and name these in a minute. So I want to show you, I can't do the subfloor because that's not in a naming convention. So I've got to do that by selecting. Cool. And then I've got to do the subfloor by selecting the components as they are. So if we go there, that should select all of those. Double check, and it's nice because I've got the front and rear walls turned off, so I can see that my plywood's selected. If I go and turn those walls back on, it's obviously a little more difficult to see things and see what's going on. What I could do is deselect. I can go to my walls, turn off those, the rear wall, I'll just click on it, it's probably simpler, back wall, and the side walls, get rid of those, and then it's far easier to see my geometry, easy to select, and I can make that a group, and we can call that group subfloor level. Forgive my slow typing. Subfloor level, and there we have it. Then we can turn things back on. So that's the power of the outliner. It's good to have things in groups if you're working on bigger projects. Helps keep everything together, and if you do need to get into the nitty-gritty of editing components and changing things, then you've got those options there. But under the umbrella of a group is very useful. So thanks for your time.